The headmaster wiped his Italian shoes on my mop bucket. I owned the ground he was standing on. For a decade, winter break meant chipping ice off the academy's gargoyles while the legacy kids skied. The school boasted sprawling manors, but I slept on a cot in the boiler room. Concrete walls. Deafening hum. The golden boys got tailored blazers. I got chemical burns and daily lectures about my debt. Headmaster Vance loved parading me as his philanthropic gesture. "We don't owe you oxygen, boy," he'd sneer, dropping cigar ash onto the rug I just vacuumed. I called him sir. If donors toured, he'd hand me a crisp $50 bill, then turn into pure ice when they left. "Earn your keep," he'd whisper, snatching the money back while I served caviar. My shift started at 4 a.m. shovel driveways, empty trash, attend class smelling like bleach. After class, fixing roofs, unclogging boilers. He didn't teach me maintenance to build character. He did it to fire union janitors. At 18, I planned to vanish with 400 crumpled dollars. At night, I stared at the ceiling, poisoned by the belief that my parents threw me away. That lie defined my existence. When the school hosted its gala, the ballroom was packed. I stood in a coat check closet. Vance marched past. "Don't look guests in the eye," he hissed. An hour later, a stranger in a bespoke suit lingered at my counter. His hands were shaking. He stared at the crescent-shaped birthmark on my jawline. "You're Leo Sterling?" he asked. "No," I said. "I'm nobody." He swallowed hard. "You're Arthur Blackwood." He shoved redacted legal files across the counter. "Blackwood Mining. Private jet crash. 2012. My childhood face stared back from a missing flyer. That's when the real bombshell dropped. The stranger, an independent forensic accountant, explained everything. My parents didn't abandon me. They died. Vance wasn't my savior. He was the court-appointed trustee. Suddenly, the impossible math of the academy made sense. The new athletic center, Vance's sports cars, not from donors. From my inheritance. I wasn't a charity case. I was the silent owner of the ground they walked on. The accountant told me to lay low while the SEC secured the freezes. I tried. I failed. Vance cornered me in the library. "You missed a spot, rat," he snapped, shoving my shoulder. Heat climbed my neck and my vision blurred. "Clean it yourself," I whispered. His smug smile died. "Excuse me," he snarled. "I found the Blackwood Trust files," I said. "Shame if auditors saw the Cayman transfers." His face went chalk white. At dawn, the DOJ ripped the campus apart. First, tactical boots echoed across the courtyard. Then, strobes flooded the stained glass windows, turning the chapel violently bright. Next, a battering ram shattered Vance's mahogany office door. Then, Vance stumbled out in silk pajamas, screaming for lawyers. After that, an agent slammed him face first onto a cruiser. Metal cuffs snapped shut. His arrogant smirk melted into absolute terror. I watched from the balcony as they tore his empire down. Fraud, embezzlement. Vance sat in interrogation for 9 hours denying everything. Then they showed him the signature on the offshore accounts. "I gave the boy an education," he screamed. The judge didn't flinch. "You enslaved a billionaire and used his fortune to buy your reputation." He got 30 years in federal prison. The state seized the academy. The trust was restored to my name. The golden legacy kids lost everything when the frozen endowment evaporated their perks. One of the senator's sons cried packing his designer luggage. I walked into Vance's stripped, empty office. It smelled like cheap fear. The accountant handed me the master deed. The money was infinite. It still felt surreal. What didn't feel fake was dropping my dirty mop bucket directly onto Vance's imported Persian rug, watching the bleach soak into the fibers. They stole 12 years of my life. They didn't get the rest of me. They tried to make me feel like nothing.